Well, it's Christmas time again. Probably my favorite or second favorite time of the year. And it always kind of has me a little nostalgic for old gaming memories. So today I figured I'd kind of talk a little bit about, I guess, just Amiibo. I'm just going to talk about Amiibo today. And one of the reasons why I kind of like to make little episodes like this is one of my favorite pieces of content that is online, especially around this time of year, is people talking about gaming memories. Like when they got a certain game or a certain season when something came out. I think it's kind of a little perfect time capsule for that whole Christmas or that whole experience or that whole season, that whole feeling. There aren't a lot of videos out there that talk about that kind of stuff, but I personally, anytime I can find someone telling a personal story or a gaming memory, especially around Christmas time, I usually listen to it quite a few times. So I wanted to share kind of my experience today with Amiibo. Christmas is synonymous with toys and synonymous with fun, and this was one of Nintendo's largest endeavors into the toy-making industry. As I'm sure a lot of you know, Nintendo did start out as a card company, making Hanafuda cards, but then they did switch over to making toys. So they were a toy company for a long time, and for those of you that have been to the Nintendo Museum in Kyoto, you've seen the vast collection of the old toys that they used to make. And some of those toys even ended up becoming items in Super Smash Bros. And other games. So this is probably, though, the largest collection of toys that Nintendo has made since creating their video game software line. The Amiibo line did start with Super Smash Bros. On Wii U. And at that time, I was actually moving from Florida to Hawaii. I was in the military and I was transitioning from one base to another and I was moving. And it took me probably about 3 weeks. I took some leave in between, so I went home and visited family and stuff like that. And while I was back home, it was October, and I picked up Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS, which I'm so happy that they released when they did. I picked it up while I was home. I played it there, I played it on the plane, I played it in my hotel room, because when the military comes and picks up all your stuff for move, they hire contractors to come and do it, like a local moving company, and they will ship it to your next base. And so my Wii U and everything was all packed up. I didn't have my TV, didn't have my Wii U, didn't have nothing. So the fact that I could play Smash on the 3DS was very, very good. Now, for any of you that have been in the military and have moved across the planet like that, it takes a long time for your stuff to arrive. Cars usually are faster. I think I got my car in about 4 to 5 weeks, which I think is pretty short. I dropped it off at a port in Atlanta, and it showed up in Hawaii about 4 to 5 weeks later. That's pretty good. But on average, the household goods, your household stuff, usually takes, I think, between 6 to 8 weeks or 6 to 12 weeks, depending on what happens. Luckily, though, my stuff arrived. I had everything all set up and ready to go. And about a week or two later, the game came out. The Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. I'm trying to think here. I think they came to pick up my stuff in the middle of September. And it showed up like a week or two before the release of the Wii U, which I want to say was November 14th. I can't remember. It's not important. But they did release the first wave of Amiibo with the game. And at the time, I bought the game. I unfortunately, because I got to Hawaii later, I couldn't get a pre-order earlier through that GameStop. And I had to get everything separate. They had a nice bundle, but that, of course, was already sold out by the time I got there. So I got the GameCube controller separate, I got the game separate, and I got a hard-covered guide. I usually, whenever Smash Brothers comes out, I go all out. I usually buy everything that they release because that's one of my favorite franchises. And I wasn't sure about this Amiibo thing. I was like, what's this all about? What are they going to do with this? I get that it's like this fighter you can train and stuff like that, and that makes some sense. Okay, that's fine. But I don't know, what I don't think I'm going to do this. Also, they had announced that they were going to do all of the fighters, and I was like, that's going to be a lot of money. So I think I'm just going to pass on this. But the day of release, they had everybody there. They had all of the fighters, or they had all of the fighter amiibos from Wave 1 there. I think with the exception of Villager. They did not have a Villager because infamously that was very hard to get in that first wave. But I just like, you know what? I'm going to pick up a Fox because he's my favorite character, and I'm going to pick up a Mario. So I got those two. And they sat next to my TV while I was playing Smash for Wii U, and I was enjoying it, and I was having fun. And I kind of caught myself, anytime I'd go back to the game store, I kind of just pick up another one. I just kind of pick up another Amiibo. I kind of like that one. I'll pick that one up. Because if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't until Wave 2 came out when the collection thing started going really crazy. I remember I did not have a problem getting really any of them, with the exception of Marth and Villager, and I think Wii Fit Trainer. I can't remember what the other one was. There's 3 that was hard to get in that first wave. But I just kind of casually picked them up every once in a while, and it wasn't until Wave 2 came out when the craze went really wild is when I was like, okay, I think I'm going to actually officially get this whole line. And I ended up doing so. I have every single Amiibo from the Wii U era from Smash, and when they continued the line with Ultimate, some of them I got, some of them I didn't get. It's kind of hit or miss. It just kind of depends. There's a few that I still do not have. But I did just go to the brand new Nintendo Fukuoka store, and they have like everything there. They are Nintendo stocks totally fine here in Japan. Like, it is so easy to get Amiibo. I don't know why it was so difficult in America. I remember people like on forums were always complaining about that because some foreigners living in Japan were like, dude, they're everywhere. You can get them. They're not hard to get at all. Whereas for us in America, we were hunting them down, going to multiple stores. And especially for me, living on the island of Oahu, it was impossible. Hawaii famously gets really short stock of everything. Anything that is like coming out or is new, they'll get a couple and like that's it. They're never gonna like be totally stocked and it's gonna be easy to get. It's always the worst, you know. One of my most irritating things was they were like, if you pre-order Splatoon for the Wii U at Target, you'll get a free Splatoon like Super Soaker, like water gun, which is like actually it wasn't like a little hand thing. It was like a medium-sized thing. It was actually really cool. And I went to Target and I was like, hey, I will cancel my pre-order with GameStop if you guys are doing this. And they're like, we're doing it. And I was like, so day of release, I showed up and they were like, yeah, we don't have those. Only the mainland got it. I was like, dude, so what? I don't know. Very famously in Hawaii, they get shafted out there. It's really terrible. You know, I know that they're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, but it still sucks. It's a bummer. But anyway, I got pretty heavily into collecting Amiibo. I was really enjoying it. I had a nice shelf of them. It was a lot of fun. My favorite line was obviously the Smash line. That is the best line. You've got a little bit of representation from all of Nintendo characters and some third parties as well, which was all really fun to see. But I would have to say that my absolute favorite Amiibos to this day are the Yarn Yoshi Amiibos. When they first announced those, I was like, I'm getting all 3 of those. And I was actually, funnily enough, I was actually in town for the Mega Yarn Yoshi release. I'm not sure why Nintendo does this with Amiibo releases. They're still doing this to this day. When they will release the game and then they'll have a line of Amiibo, but they'll split the line in like half. And they'll release some with the game and some either early or later. The Metroid Prime 4 Amiibo just released, but they only released 2 of them. And the Silex one is coming out the same day as the game. And it's like, why are they separate? I don't know, it's very bizarre. But I remember I got up really early. I stood outside of that Toys R Us and I got that Mega Yarn Yoshi, and I'm very happy that I did. It's my favorite. That's my favorite Amiibo that I have. It's adorable. It's awesome. The other 3 little ones are cool as well. And even when they released Yoshi's Woolly World on 3DS, that actually came with a little Yarn Poochie that I still have as well. So all of those Yarn Yoshi Amiibos are great. I really wish that they would re-release that on Switch and Switch 2, and then re-release those Yoshi Amiibos again. Those are fantastic. I don't know why those are not permanently on store shelves. They're so cute. They're the best. I don't know what they're doing. The worst Amiibo line is, unfortunately, I hate to say this, 100% the Animal Crossing line. And I know a lot of people would probably be like, why is that the worst line? And it's like, well, I remember when those came out, those were everywhere. Those were in bargain bins. Those were like, most Amiibos when they came out, when they were the little figures, were like $12 to $13. They're relatively inexpensive. They weren't bad. They were marking those, like, I would go into like GameStop and they'd have like Tom Nook and Isabelle for like $6, $2. Like, it was crazy how cheap those things were. Like, they could not get rid of those things. And to be honest with you, it's because they released them without a game. They released them with Amiibo Festival. I think that same trip home, I picked up Amiibo Festival when I was in town, when I was in Kentucky. And I remember I was like, I got to rush out and get that. I love Animal Crossing. There's going to be a line around the block for this. Like, anything Animal Crossing I want to buy. And then, sure enough, nobody bought that game. I feel like I'm the only person that bought that game and like still has a complete in box. I did play it. It's cute, but that's like a $5 game, That whole set should have been sold for like $15. Like, to sell that for $60 is wild. But yeah, Animal Crossing was the most disappointing set. There's no personality. That was the thing about the Smash line. Every time they would announce new fighters are coming, they're coming this season, this is going to be wave 3. Oh, what do they look like? And it's like, wow, look at them. They're like in a cool pose, or they're doing something unique, and they just got so much personality. Every single one had a different kind of personality or flavor. And with Animal Crossing, they're just kind of standing there, just like looking at you. And you're just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, that's all they're gonna do? They're like basically like in a T pose. They're just standing there. I don't know. I didn't get it. It was very disappointing, especially for an Animal Crossing fan. However, the home run was the Animal Crossing Amiibo cards. Those are great. I don't know if they're still on sale in America right now, but here in Japan, like when you walk by the Amiibo section, they still have got Wave 1, Wave 2, Wave 3, and Wave 4 packs you can buy. Like, you can still buy those to this day. I've thought about continuing collecting those. I mostly have Wave 1 and 2, not as much 3 and 4, but I did go on eBay and buy individual ones that I wanted. But yeah, I thought about continuing the collection. The problem is that they're all going to be in Japanese, and I don't know. My OCD is going to bother me. I don't want to mix English cards with Japanese cards. I want to have a whole set of whatever. So that's the only reason why I have not continued buying them out here. Because they're cheap out here. I think it's like 150 yen or like 200 yen for a pack. Although I do think in America our packs were 6, and I think out here their packs are 3. So I think it's a little different. But yeah, I'm very happy to see that Amiibo is continuing. I'm glad that that's not dead. For a while there, towards the end of the Switch's life cycle, people were thinking, okay, this is going to be the end of Amiibo. We're not going to see that much coming up. It's kind of winding down. But I think it was just winding down because the generation of Switch was winding down. And I'm happy to say that that's true, because we've had a whole lot of Amiibo announcements this year alone. Once again, they're doing it separately for some reason. They did announce the Mario Galaxy Amiibo set, or not set, but the 2 that are coming out for Galaxy. I definitely want the Mario one. That one's really cool looking. But for some reason, those don't come out till March. Those are like going to come out a month before the movie. And then the game came out this October. It's very strange. Like, why would you not just release all of it at once? Like, why don't you release... Because if the movie's going to come out in April, release Mario Galaxy on Switch in like February or March with the Amiibo, get everybody all excited, and then a month later the movie comes out. They probably just want to hit the Christmas season. I don't know. It's very strange. I don't quite understand the technique there, because chances are March is going to roll around and we're all going to forget about it. But I don't know. Anyway, but they've got those 2 coming out. They do have the 3 for Metroid Prime coming out, as I said, and then just yesterday I actually picked up one of the Kirby Air Riders amiibo. I believe there are, let's see, there's Kirby, there's Waddle Dee, or Bandana Waddle Dee, there's Meta Knight, Chef Kawasaki. I want to say there's 5, but I think there's only 4. I can only name 4. There might be 5 or 4. There's not that many. They don't have everybody, unfortunately. I'm very upset that there's not a Rick one. Rick is like my favorite character, and I was hoping that you were going to get a Rick one, but they're not going to come out with him. The big controversy about that is that, of course, they're very expensive. They are very expensive. Even out here in Japan, it was 4,600 yen, so that was 4,600 yen. So that is basically the same price as America, which is like 45 or 50 bucks. That is too much money. To go from like $12 or $13 to like 50, that is a massive increase in price. And I know that the Kirby amiibos, I know that the Air Rider amiibos are 2 amiibos in one, so you're getting 2. But then you're telling me that each amiibo is worth $30? It's like, no. I think the highest you could go for those is like 35 or 40 bucks. Like, that's the highest you could go. To ask 50 is like, dude, you're almost as much as the game. You're $20 shy. You're $20 shy of the game price here for just a piece of plastic that you're gonna, use as a collecting item. I will say though that I can confirm that the build quality on it is intense. It is a solid unit, and they've actually used. I'm pretty sure they've used the same switch to magnets in there so that he kind of like he clips right onto there, and it makes that same sound that the Switch controllers do. So they are very, very well made. I know that they are expensive, but you cannot knock the build quality on that. These are not cheap, cash grab, cheaply made little things. They put some time and effort into this stuff, which is always appreciated. Like, it's better than them just saying, whatever. But I don't know. I love Amiibo. I've loved the history of it. I love it when you go to like an official Nintendo location. Like, I know at the KIX airport in Osaka, they've got a nice kiosk where they have all of the, they've got the modern Nintendo stuff displayed. Like, hey, these are the new games coming out. But then they've also got that little glass area where they have all of the Amiibos ever released right there, and you can look at all of them, and it's so cool. To this day, I think my favorite Amiibo figure, aside from the Yarn Yoshi one, because that's not really a figure, that's a stuffed animal, but I think the best Amiibo figure, which is also one of the most rare ones, is the Metroid Amiibo from Samus Returns, where he's like climbing out of the test tube. That is the best one ever. It's very disappointing that, I don't know. It's very disappointing that, we did not get a re-release of those, or they just stopped production for that because it was on the 3DS and it was kind of ending. So very sad, unfortunate, but I don't know. Maybe they'll do a re-release. Maybe they'll sell more of them. They did recently re-release the Pikmin amiibo from Hey Pikmin, and they rebranded it out here in Japan. I don't know if they did in the States, but I was walking inside of a Big Camera or something somewhere, and I saw the Pikmin amiibo, and I freaked because I was like, oh my god, I haven't seen that since, 2017? And it was super limited. Like, I snagged one at GameStop when it came out, but I never saw them on the shelves, so to see, a stack of them in the wild was great. So maybe at some point they'll just have a Metroid line of amiibo. They'll change the backing of it so that it's not Samus Returns. It'll just be a vague Metroid thing, because it doesn't have to be Samus Returns. Like, it can just be a Metroid amiibo. Just resell it. It's the coolest little guy. But anyway, that's probably gonna do it for me for today. I don't know. I really love Amiibo. I love the creativity of it. I am not a hardcore collector. I do not buy every single Amiibo that's out there. But if I were to guess, of the entire collection of Amiibo that have ever existed, I probably own half, a little bit less than half, because there are some exclusive ones to Japan that I've never been able to get. But North American releases, I would say I can comfortably say I've got at least half. I have probably 80% or 90% of the Smash line, And then other things here and there I will pick up. Like I remember like Monster Hunter Rise had a really cool set come out. And I bought the, what was his name? Oh man, it's been so long since I've played that game. The big guy, the big cat guy, the Maglamar or whatever his name is. I bought him because he was super cool, but I passed on the little dog and the cat. It's just not necessary. So I'll pick up the ones that I like, skip the ones I don't, and I don't know. I do love me some Amiibo. What do you think? How big is your collection of Amiibo? Or are Amiibo totally stupid and we don't need any more of them? Comment down below, and as always, take care of each other out there. Oh, and by the way, Merry Christmas.